In my time in Mexico, I can't think of another incident quite as brazen, quite as shocking that happened on social media live. We saw a young woman with her entire life ahead of her, just 23 years old, with a very significant online following. Her followers across Instagram and TikTok knew her for her.
On May 13th, 2025, the social media world was left in shock when 23-year-old Mexican influencer Valeria Marquez was shot and killed while live streaming to her followers. The horrific incident, which occurred at her beauty salon in Jalisco, Mexico, was captured on camera, sending ripples across social media platforms and raising serious questions about both targeted violence against influencers and the ongoing femicide epidemic in Mexico.
A young Mexican social media influencer was shot to death during a TikTok live stream in an incident that has sent shockwaves throughout the country. Valeria Marquez was known for her videos about beauty and makeup. Marquez was killed on Tuesday in the beauty salon.
Valeria Marquez was a rising star in the Mexican influencer scene. After winning the Miss Rostro, Miss Face beauty pageant in 2021, she had built a substantial following across social media platforms. At the time of her death, she had amassed over 149,000 followers on Instagram and more than 114,000 on TikTok. Her content primarily focused on beauty tips, personal care routines, fashion advice, and showcasing her glamorous lifestyle. Her Instagram was filled with photos of her on private jets, yachts, and at exclusive locations, images that displayed a life of apparent luxury and success.
Se está trabajando para poder encontrar pues primero a los responsables y el móvil de por qué fue esta situación. Y es muy, pues obviamente nuestra solidaridad con su familia, con esta lamentable situación, pero está trabajando el Gabinete de Seguridad en coordinación con la Fiscalía.
The tragedy unfolded at Blossom Beauty Lounge, a salon owned by Marquez located in the Jardines del Valle neighborhood of Zapopan in Mexico's Jalisco state. According to the Jalisco State Prosecutor's Office, Marquez was in the middle of a TikTok live stream when the attack occurred. What makes this case particularly disturbing is that Marquez had expressed fear just minutes before her murder. In the live stream, she mentioned that she was waiting for a courier who was supposed to deliver an expensive gift. She appeared visibly concerned, saying, "Maybe they were going to kill me. Were they going to come and take me away or what? I'm worried." Her premonition proved tragically accurate. While still broadcasting live, Marquez looked away from the camera and a voice off-screen asked, "Hey, Val?" To which she replied, "Yes." She was then handed a pink stuffed animal and a bag of Starbucks coffee before being shot multiple times. She clutched her chest and stomach before collapsing in her chair. Another woman then took the phone and ended the live stream. Dennis Rodriguez, spokesperson for the Jalisco State Prosecutor's Office, revealed that earlier that same day, around noon, two suspicious men had visited the salon. One man, wearing a mask and posing as a delivery driver, accompanied by another on a motorcycle, claimed to have a very expensive gift for Marquez that they insisted on delivering in person. When the men returned later, one of them specifically asked if Marquez was present in the salon, leading prosecutors to believe this was a targeted hit. As Rodriguez explained, the aggressor arrived asking if the victim was there, so it appears he didn't know her. With that, you can deduce, without jumping to conclusions, that this was a person who was paid. It was obviously someone who came with a purpose. Authorities are now investigating whether the murder was connected to another killing that occurred just hours earlier in the same area of Guadalajara. Former Congressman Luis Armando Córdoba Diaz was murdered just 2 kilometers away from Marquez's salon, also by 2 men on a motorcycle. This pattern of motorcycle assassins, known locally as sicarios, has become a common occurrence in the region. While the investigation is ongoing, several possible motives are being considered. The murder took place in Jalisco State, which is firmly controlled by one of Mexico's most powerful criminal organizations, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG. Unofficial sources have pointed to the cartel, specifically to a figure known as El Doble Air, Ricardo Ruiz Velasco, as possibly ordering the hit, though this hasn't been confirmed by authorities. The area where the salon is located, Zapopan, presents a paradox. Despite its wealth and appearance of safety with private security and clean streets, it is one of the most violent municipalities in Jalisco. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, more than half of the real estate and commercial development in the area is connected to money laundering from drug trafficking. The state prosecutor's office has stated that they're investigating the crime as a femicide, meaning they believe the crime was motivated by the victim's gender. Mexican media had previously published messages in which Marquez allegedly blamed her ex-partner if anything happened to her, raising questions about possible domestic violence. Gender-based violence is a severe problem in Mexico, which ranks fourth in Latin America and the Caribbean for rates of femicide. According to the United Nations, 70% of women over the age of 15 in Mexico have experienced some form of assault at least once in their lives, and approximately 10 women or girls are murdered every day in the country. Marquez's murder is part of a disturbing trend of violence against social media personalities in Mexico. In January 2025, a small plane reportedly dropped pamphlets over the northwestern cartel stronghold of Culiacan, threatening approximately 20 artists and YouTubers for alleged dealings with a warring faction of the Sinaloa drug cartel. David Saucedo, an independent expert on Mexican cartels, has noted that influencers may become targets for various reasons. They might be seen as informants, money launderers, or involved in romantic relationships with criminals. As he put it, influencers have become another cog in the machine of organized crime. The murder has sent shockwaves through Mexico and the international community. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum stated that her administration is working with local investigators to track down the killer and extended her condolences to Marquez's family. On social media, Marquez's accounts have been flooded with tributes, with many users posting justice for Valeria and expressing their shock at the brutal killing. TikTok has since taken down the influencer's account, though her Instagram remains active as a memorial. The mayor of Zapopan, Juan Jose Frangi, expressed shock at the crime, saying, "It's incredible that 1 minute you're making a video and then you're murdered. A femicide is the worst thing." He added that his office had no record of Marquez requesting help from authorities due to threats against her. Marquez's murder has highlighted two significant issues in Mexico. First, the impunity surrounding gender-based violence. According to the UN, while at least 50,000 women have been murdered in Mexico since 2001, only 2% of cases end in a criminal sentence, and only 1 in 10 victims reports their aggressor. Second, the growing danger facing social media personalities in regions controlled by cartels. Several influencers in Sinaloa have already been killed, and the Marquez case suggests that Jalisco may be following a similar pattern. The crime also occurred during a period of heightened violence. Less than 48 hours before Marquez's murder, Yesenia Lara Gutierrez, a mayoral candidate for the ruling Morena party in Texistepec, Veracruz, was killed while participating in a political motorcade. Like Marquez's case, this murder was also recorded on camera as it was being live-streamed on Facebook. The Jalisco prosecutor's office continues to gather evidence. They're analyzing CCTV footage, reviewing Marquez's social media accounts, and interviewing witnesses. The state of Jalisco has a troubling record when it comes to crime solving. As many as 90% of crimes are never reported or investigated, and the state attorney's office has long faced accusations of having links to cartels, allegations they deny. The prosecutor's office has stated that they are conducting the investigation under the femicide protocol with a gender perspective, without revictimization, and in accordance with the principles of legality, impartiality, and respect for human rights. The murder of Valeria Marquez is a stark reminder of the dangers facing both women and public figures in regions where cartel violence is prevalent. Her death, broadcast live to her followers, has become a symbol of the ongoing violence crisis in Mexico. As authorities continue their investigation, many questions remain unanswered, and her family, friends, and followers are left to mourn a life cut tragically short. Whether her murder was a targeted hit by organized crime, a gender-based crime, or motivated by personal vendettas, the case highlights the complex and dangerous reality that many face in cartel-dominated regions of Mexico. It also underscores the vulnerability of social media personalities whose public personas can make them both influential and exposed. If you found this video informative, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel.
Mexican authorities are investigating the murder of a TikTok beauty influencer killed as she was live streaming.
23-year-old Valeria Marquez was shot dead on camera at her salon in western Mexico. She had thousands of followers on social media. Moments before her death, she showed off a stuffed animal that was delivered to her. Then in her final few seconds, she's seen looking off into the distance right before a man walks in and killed her. Jalisco State Police say the case is being investigated as a suspected femicide, which is the intentional murder of women or girls because of their gender.